Hi everyone, welcome to Girls. Today I have with me Harini Gupta. Am I pronouncing your last name
Yes.
right? Okay, good. Harini is a PM in the SQL Azure team. Can you please present yourself?
Yeah, hi Soumouw. My name is Harini Gupta and I'm a program manager on the database systems team. I've been on the team for about 2 years now. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career from the beginning? What degree you had, what studies you did, and then the evolution of your career until today?
Absolutely. So I have a bachelor's in computer science, and also I almost finished my master's in computer science as well. So I graduated about 15 years ago, right out of college. I had several internships during my college as well, but my first full-time job was with Motorola in Chicago area. I was a software engineer working on those walkie-talkies and COP radios. That's what we built the software for. Nice. And I spent a couple years there, and then I was an industry hire into Microsoft. I started my career at Microsoft about 12 years ago. I actually hit my 12th year this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I started in Windows. I've been on different parts of Windows. The first team that I worked on was Windows Shell as a software development and test. I was in the test discipline for about 4 years before I switched to being an SDE, which is software developer engineer. And then we shipped Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1.
That's a long time in Windows.
It has been, but I haven't been in one single team. I've been moved around after every 3 years. It was a 3-year ship cycle, so we moved around. And right after that, I think I hit my 10th year at Microsoft, and I felt like, hey, I've been an engineer for way too long, and what do I really want to do next, you know? So I kind of used at my 10th year mark, and I kind of looked around, like, what are the different opportunities that are there at Microsoft? And that's when I felt like the program manager is a good path for me going forward in my career. So I started learning a lot about it, shadowing a bunch of people. And then I landed this program manager job in the SQL database systems team. And it's a very technical role, so I love it. And coming from the engineering background really kind of helped me transition into this role pretty easily. So that's where I'm at. The last 2 years I've been working as a program manager.
How do you like it?
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. I think development is fantastic, and that's always been my bread and butter. But with program manager, I think you get to go and you learn, you create your vision, you get to see the big picture that you don't see as an IC dev working on your own siloed project and checking in that code. So that is the experience that I lacked, and I wanted to gain that experience. And program manager offers me that today, and also dealing with the customers, what do they really want, and how do we actually turn that into a product that actually they will use. So that is the experience I really wanted to gain, and I'm loving it. I think I'm gaining a lot of experience, and I'm understanding a lot of the things that that the real customers want from us, and we can hopefully turn into these great products for them.
Nice, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So over your you have a beautiful long career. What was the product that you're most proud of?
I've had a couple different things. I would definitely say Windows file system was one of the things that File Explorer is one of the features that I worked on in Windows 7 and Windows 8 timeframe. I'm really proud of that. It's actually a feature called rename, so it's like a file rename. Okay. But we revamped the whole rename, how it worked back in Vista XP 2000 to make this. I think it was just a really nice thing that I worked on. That was as a dev. As a PM, what I worked on is I built a bunch of, I'm in the data migration team right now, so we built a bunch of tools that help customers move from a compete Microsoft platform to Microsoft data platform. So I'm very proud of one of the tools that I worked on. It's called the Experimentation Assistant. It's basically the A/B testing solution for databases. It's never been done before. We've done A/B testing for websites, things like that. Bing, Google, it's a very common concept, but not for databases. So I think that was a very technically challenging project that I really liked, and I think the customers are very happy with that kind of a solution because it doesn't exist today. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
In your bio, you also told me that you volunteer in UW, the university, to help girls get into STEM. Can you tell us a little bit about the story?
That's right. It's one of my passionate topics. Is like, you know, help young girls get into STEM and not be worried about getting into STEM or engineering is a hard thing. It's not, right? You've done it. I've done it. So there are opportunities, volunteer opportunities in UW. It's for the UW Women's Center. So I have spent some time talking to those girls that come to the program and kind of coaching them into and mentoring them into how they should be, what STEM is like for them and why they should get into it, right? So kind of being that example, role model, it really helped them kind of ease their mind and get into the program.
What is the Women's Center? What does it mean?
So the UW Women's Center is focused on getting underprivileged women or girls who the parents are probably below the poverty line, or they can't afford, or maybe they don't have educated parents who can guide them through their education all along. So Women's Center actually brings those kids and brings mentors like ourselves to go help them navigate through their classes and end up making sure that they end up in the right programs and the right career and things like that, right? So for example, they want to go to Princeton, but they don't know that Princeton exists. So they do assign like volunteers. They can actually travel with them for like campus tours for Princeton, so nice. Or any university that's Ivy League, and kind of they have the potential. It's just that they don't have the means to get there.
Right.
So the
you're like
Women's
a
Center
mentor to these girls?
I was. I'm not actively taking part in this year, but up until last year, I was doing some mentorship for some of these women, young women.
That's so nice. And do you have some stories to share with us? Like these mentees, what do they do in high school? Did any one of them went to college after all?
Absolutely. So I can share with you one story is that we brought a bunch of students from that are part of this program, and we actually helped them tour the Microsoft campus.
Oh, that's nice.
So they were in building 16, that's where we're at. Me and a couple of other peers of mine who are also part of this women's cause. We brought in about 7-8 girls, and we had them tour the whole building 16. What do we do really as Microsoft? What does it even to be an engineer in a software company like Microsoft, right? So it's a combination of shadowing, making it a fun day, have a nice lunch in Commons, taking in what do I do on a day-to-day basis, met my coworkers and things like that, right? And those guys, some of them, there were also a couple boys in that group too.
Oh,
so it's not just, I know it says Women's Center, but still there are, like, we're not going to, segregate to those middle school guys who also want to be part of this program and understand how to make a path for themselves. Some of them were super excited. They were like, yeah, computer science is for me, and that's what I want to do. And the interesting thing was, like, one of the people even asked me, like, how much you guys make?
Of course, that's the first question.
It was so super important for this child. It's like, I wouldn't have even asked that question, but then it's like, do you guys make a lot of money? Because that's important. And I'm like, oh yeah, we make a lot of money. We work a lot, we make a lot of money, right?
That's a very important question for them. I can relate to that.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's life. Like if you have money, you can eat.
Right, exactly. You can pay anything. You can pay your bills, eat. Basic things are taken care of.
Maybe that's the first message we say. You should. This is the money that we have, and now let's show you how we work.
Yeah, I think that was a very funny afternoon.
Nice. That's really cool that you're doing this. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Tell me also, one of your passions is, and you like animals?
I do. I love animals. I love dogs, cats. I've always been that way. I've always been grown up. I grew up with dogs, but I used to like play around with neighbors' cats and things like that.
But your passion goes more over like some people just like an animal would buy the animal or rescue.
Yeah.
But for yourself, you go and volunteer.
I do. So even in high school, I volunteered at like community services. At high school, we do that, right? So I volunteered at a shelter in high school, animal shelter, to actually literally like doing dog walking or cleaning up the cages, feeding these animals that are ready to be adopted by a home. So the last 2 or 3 years, I've also, actually 2 years, I've been volunteering at a local pet shelter. It's called Homeward Pet Adoption Center. I've been on the board of that Homeward Pet Adoption Center. I'm actually not on the ground working and cleaning the mess and things like that, but I think where I am in my life, I'm able to volunteer, like, you know, money rather than time for the cause that I care about. So that's why I'm part of the board. And Microsoft matches a lot of the stuff, all my volunteer time, and this is so great. Like, so I think we're in it for the good cause, for the community. We're giving it out. So yeah, I'm part of that for the last 2 years.
That's so nice.
Sometimes I do get to go play with the animals. I love that. I love that part of it. So I make some time to go and, you know, let's just sneak in and play with them, or walk with them, and, you know, they're all like barking and chewing my ears off a little bit, but, you know, it's fun. So
that's cool. And you're also a mom, right?
I am.
So how many kids do you have, and what ages?
I have 2 kids. One of them is 9. She's my daughter, and the second one's a boy who is 5 years old. They just started their 4th in kindergarten this year.
Nice.
So it's been a great start so far.
So how do you do all of this at the same time? I mean, being a mom is not easy, and like working at the same time. And plus you're doing 2 volunteering causes. It's not, like, how do you manage your time? Maybe that's the question.
So, I mean, that's a great question, and I ask myself every day, you know, to be honest. Like, I mean, but, you know, over time I've learned to optimize my time very well, in the sense that I care about certain things in my life. Let's just say even the animals, the cause of the animals, and it matters to me so much that I pick things that matters to me a lot. So I feel good about doing that, right? So I make time for it. I make the commitment for it no matter what. I do have a wonderful husband who helps me a lot with my children and everything around the house as well. So it's not like, hey, I'm the only parent, I have to manage everything at home, and I'm coming to work, and I'm also going and volunteering the thing. So it's kind of like a great partnership in our household. And even my kids appreciate it, to be honest. Like, I know they get it. My mom has to go to work, so my mom has to drop me off at school at a certain time, so I'm going to be ready by a certain time. So we're a household that kind of works that way. We kind of like live off of each other, and also try to fulfill other things that we have we've always wanted to do, and yeah, I know we kind of manage that way. So the only thing that I do is, like, I don't push myself to things that I don't like. That's the important thing that I learned in my life, is like, if I don't like to do something, I'm not going to waste my time on it. So that way I have, when I spend my time on all of these things, like, for example, I love my job that I'm in right now. I have to it's very important that I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm challenged at my work. That way I feel good coming to work and doing stuff. Same way with the women cause or the pet cause and things like that, right? I feel good about doing that, and I feel very passionate and I'm driven to do it, so I just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have the passion, then you will make time.
Yes.
And prioritize to do that.
Absolutely.
Nice. What would be your tips, though? I'm sure you have, like, maybe organizational tips or advices. How do you, any tools you use, any special apps?
Outlook calendar.
You put everything in one calendar?
It's all on my calendar. My calendar is just full. Even on Saturday and Sunday it looks all red. It's because it's all my driving kids off to the swim lessons, things like that. Everything goes on my Outlook calendar. That's the only tool that I use, to be honest.
Wow, you don't use any lists or something like this?
Not really. My kids make grocery lists now. So if I say, like, I don't have yogurt, and it goes on some list somewhere at home, but it's them doing it, it's not mine.
Okay. That's really cool that they're helping with that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our lightning round then.
Okay.
First question is coffee or tea? I always have my coffee with me, but that's my question. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay, good. What do you do first thing when you wake up in the morning?
First, I check my mail.
Okay, this is everything.
Yes.
You open your eyes.
Yes, literally. My light's on. I'm checking my phone. I'm checking social media. I'm reading all the news. just catching up with the world for the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then my husband and I, we walk our dog after that.
Okay. Next question is, what's your favorite app? But I think you already answered that, but if you have a different app, that would be nice.
I have a lot of different apps. I really do. Actually, I have to say the most app that I use is Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You're very social?
I am.
I'll link your Twitter in the description of the video, by the way.
Awesome. Sounds good.
If anyone wants to follow.
Yeah, sounds
Cool.
good. So, I would say Facebook probably, because I'm catching up with people from that's a good way for me to catch up with people, you know, like I know what's going on in people's lives, even though I don't see them or talk to them. So that kind of gives me that the nice sense that I'm still caught up with people that I didn't see for 5 years.
Right.
So, and of course, Outlook is another tool that I'm constantly checking my productivity tools, right? So yeah,
I get that. If there is any product that you would love to work on inside or outside of Microsoft, what would that be? Product or service or anything?
That's interesting. I think, given that I'm dealing with like a lot of the fourth grade math kind of things. I think that's one of the things that's on top of my mind is like I'd probably create like apps for parents that makes it easy for teaching fourth grade math. Like all the different concepts that are getting introduced all of a sudden right now for my daughter, like I mean I have to go Google up and do a lot of research on them. So something, if I can just say, hey, this is a prep app for fourth grade and you can kind of practice your math this way, I think that's probably what is on top of my mind right now.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm sure if we ask you the question in 5 years, it's going to be different, right?
It'll be different.
Yeah, of course.
It changes every 6 months too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's something that you spend money on to make your life easier?
My nanny.
Yeah, I think that's that's
worth it. It's worth it. I don't know, but you surprised? Maybe not.
No, I'm not surprised. I have kids, so I relate.
That's awesome. Yeah, so nanny is my thing. The last couple of years, I've been spending quite a bit money on my nanny.
Yeah,
but it helps. Of course, I think
it's 100% needed. Okay, my last question is, what would be your advice to a girl who wants to be to come into STEM or work in like a tech company, but hesitant because of ratio between women and men in this field?
See, my honest advice is it was never a limiting factor for me. I'll tell you that in my graduating class for bachelor's in computer science in the College of Engineering that I went to, I was one of the 2 girls that graduated with a degree in computer science. And you know what? That was never a limiting thing, you know. I'm so glad there are a lot of programs and things like that right now that Microsoft supports, you know, growing women and things like that. But even 12, 15 years ago, I didn't have that. So
I think maybe you have enough confidence, you know. It's not easy to walk in a room where the only girl or the only 2 girls in the room.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're bringing me back like 15 years ago, and how did I feel? You're absolutely right. And all these geeky boys, they were always living and talking Linux and Unix. It was not a comfortable situation.
Right.
Mainly because I think I also had other hobbies and things like that I didn't have anybody to talk with. If I have to fit into computer science, I felt like I need to be talking this language, and that's how my class was. So again, I have to say that I was not always confident, but I had to build my confidence. And also another thing is I never gave up. That's the biggest thing I would advise to anybody. Even my children I see is like, don't ever give up, you know. You may not get this problem right today, but if you keep practicing and doing certain things, you're gonna be really good at it the next day, right? So those are the things that I even teach my own daughter. So she's, you know, like she knows that she needs to build that confidence, and she can get anything done if she puts her heart into. So that's probably what I'll say. And I really don't think the girls should get discouraged. There are a lot of men. I think we do a lot of things that are better than men in some ways, and we should we all have strengths and weaknesses, we should definitely focus a lot on our strengths and kind of bring your weaknesses up too, so you're kind of leveled a little bit, right? So, but don't give up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, perseverance, that's a great advice. Thank you very much, Harini, for being on Girls.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Bye.
Bye.